to get on back to our training for the afternoon session. I do not anticipate this lasting very long in comparison to what I had the agenda look like, because we were able to move so quickly this morning due to doing this training virtually. So we're going to talk about Title IV, and then at the end we'll have some closure and some question and answer times. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box as Marcus Corbett goes over Title V, which is our RLIS program, Rural and Low Income Schools. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I hope everyone had a great break. And so we're going to go right into Title V at this time. I'm going to have my camera off while I go over this presentation with you. And so the overview, we hope to appreciate that the purpose of the Title V grant is to address the unique needs of rural school districts that frequently lack the personnel and resources needed to compete effectively for federal competitive grants, and who receive formula grant allocations in amounts too small to be effective in meeting their intended purposes. So the purpose of this Title V grant is to provide additional funds to help supplement those grants. Next slide, please. So when we look at Title V, the program grant description, we hope to see that the grant is non-competitive and eligibility is determined by statute. Awards are issued annually to state education agencies, which make sub-grants to local education agencies, those LEAs, that meet the applicable requirements. Awards are made to all SEAs that apply and meet the applicable requirements of the Act. So everyone that is eligible and can possibly receive an award. So how do you know if you're eligible? Well, a local educational agency shall be eligible to use Title V funding if the LEA meets the following criteria. The total number of students in average daily attendance at all of the schools served by the local educational agency is fewer than 600, or each county in which a school served by the local educational agency is located has a total population density of fewer than 10 persons per square mile, and all of the schools served by the local educational agency are designated with a locale code of 32, 33, 41, 42, or 43, or 20% or more of the children ages 5 through 17 years served by the local educational agency are from families with incomes below the poverty line. And so those also, we see those served, these same codes are used as well. So the needs assessment. The needs assessment must be conducted and must clearly demonstrate a need in the area in which funds are to be spent. This assessment should include stakeholders such as teachers, administrators, other school personnel, parents, community members, and even students when feasible. The assessment summary narrative should include a discussion of the data that indicated the need. So when we look at the online application should be based upon the needs assessment and allocation awarded. The guidance from the United States Department of Education and South Carolina Department of Education should be followed when developing this plan. When we look at supplement and not supplant, the traditional method, Title V funds may be used only to supplement educational program activities provided with state and local funds. The LEA may not use Title V funds to pay for activities that, in the absence of these funds, would be provided with state and local funds. So if you have those state and local funds already, those are the funds you would possibly want to, those are the funds you would want to use and not utilize the Title V funding. When we look at allowable use of funds, so what is allowable with this grant? And the beautiful thing about this grant is that it provides flexibility. And I'm sure this is one of the things in which that you're attracted to when we look at Title V. And so the grant funds awarded to local educational agencies under this subpart shall be used for any of the following activities authorized under Part A of Title I, Part A of Title II, Title III, Part A of Title IV, and parental involvement activities as well. And so the examples of the Title V activities based upon for Title I to ensure that it's allowable, the activities support teacher incentives, PD, that professional development, substitute teacher, technology, or even instruction. When we look at it from the standpoint of allowability for Title II, again, some of the activities that is supported is instructional staff, administrative salaries, stipends, fringe benefits, contracted services, supplies, materials, equipment, and travel. When we look at examples for Title III, activities which support, these would support upgrading program objectives and effective instructional strategies, improving the instruction of English learners and immigrant students. So the examples of Title IV for the allowability would be well-rounded education, safe and healthy students, and effective use of technology. Now, when we look at the records retention piece of it, all financial and programmatic records and supporting documents must be kept for 5 years after the expiration of the grant. If any litigation, claim, negotiation, audit, or other actions involving the records arises, records must be retained until resolution or until the end of the regular 5-year period, whichever is later. And so when we look at amendments, when are amendments made? So an amendment is required when any of the following occur. When there is an increase or decrease in the total grant, there is a change in the scope of an activity, or there is a change in function object code. And so one of the things we want to keep in mind here is that sometimes after the initial allocations have been sent out, now on our end, we may receive notification that the federal government has increased or decreased funding a little bit. So if you have already been approved for your plan and the allocations change, then you will need to do an amendment to reflect those changes. And so it's very important that you keep that in mind as well. Still looking at the amendment piece, the district updates the online application in GEMS. The South Carolina Department of Education reviews the amendment and either sends it back to the district for edits or approves. Upon receiving approval, the district completes the amendment and gaps. Also, the South Carolina Department of Education approves the amendment and gaps. And the last date to submit a budget amendment is approximately June the 5th. One of the things that you also want to keep in mind is that the amendment should be approved before the activity takes place. That is key. So drawdown of funds. Districts are expected to encumber and draw down funds in a timely manner. And this should be done at least quarterly or monthly. And the final expenditure claim for each fiscal year must be submitted in gaps by the date of November the 15th. Transferability of funds. And so now this is the great thing again about this grant. Any one of these funds can be transferred into other ESSER programs as well. And so the LEAs may transfer funds to other ESSER programs. The funds transferred become subject to all rules and regulations for the grant they are transferred into. The LEAs must consider how the transfer will impact the required set-asides, that Title I and equitable services. The South Carolina Department of Education Title V program managers must be notified in writing about the LEA's intent to transfer funds to another grant prior to submitting an application and budget. So please notify us if that is going to take place. When we look at the on-site monitoring, the consolidated oversight and monitoring team visits the LEAs to review the criteria included in the monitoring protocol. And the LEAs are monitored both upon risk and during a monitoring cycle. Also, again, some helpful hints. Thank you. Document Title V meetings. Again, it's crucial that you do document, have documentation, so your agenda of the meetings, the sign-in sheet of the meetings, as well as the minutes, the meeting minutes. We want to make sure that you have that documentation. Again, you want to make sure charges are for approved activities and GEMS as well. And so that completes our Title V piece presentation. Here's our contact information, and we truly want to thank you so much for participating today. And at this time, I'll turn it back over to Jennifer.
Thank you, Morgan. So I wanted to piggyback on a couple of things about Title V. Title V is not an allocation that is given to every district, as Marcus went over. So for some of you that may be on the line that do Title II or Title IV, and you're accustomed to that going to every district, Title V is not that way. Also, I wanted to let you know that it is the only grant that we have not released a preliminary allocation for as of yet. It is on our to-do list very soon. Right now we're in the weeds with Title I, II, and IV, but it is on the list to take care of next. So if you're a district that normally receives Title V funding, it's on the horizon and will be coming to you soon. A while ago, he showed you the list of all of our names and contacts from my team. I want to reiterate that we are here to support you in your new role. Please make sure that you call your program manager if you have any questions or concerns. Reach out to us if you need to see a copy of our allowable uses document that is broken down by title so that you can kind of see the yes and no list. It's kind of a quick reference. If you don't already have that, we're happy to provide that to you. I want to thank my team today for an awesome job. For presenting and answering questions and even fielding questions. So before we kind of end up for the day, I know it seems very quick. Like I said, we were able to kind of push on through Title II before we went to lunch. So before we end up for the day, Martha, are there any questions that I need to answer in our chat box?
I don't see any new questions other than someone is asking if they will be able to access a copy of this PowerPoint.
Okay. So what normally happens when we have a virtual meeting like this is that it is posted within a week or so onto our website. And normally I will send out an email thread to all the coordinators so that you know where to access it and the link. And also just so that you can have any quick references that we have and let you know that it is posted. So once it is kind of fielded and put on the website, I will recontact you to let you know where it's located in case maybe someone didn't get to attend today that is in your district that will want to go back and listen. Or you may want to go back and listen later on. Maybe you feel like you need to hear something again or print out the PowerPoint. So the PowerPoint will be available along with the training today, and I will let you know once that is posted. Okay, if there are no other questions.
Yes, I do not see any new questions in the meeting chat.
Okay, sounds good. Please know that our team is in the process of continuous reviewing of the 22 Title I applications. Then we're moving on into the Title II and into the Title IV. And then come around the October mark, you'll see final allocations begin to roll out to you. So whereas over the last couple of weeks, I have been extremely busy with training new staff and doing state level meetings and state level trainings and approving many amendments that have been coming through. As of tomorrow morning, my focus will shift into looking at the 22 projects. That will be my main priority come in the morning. So just wanted to let you know where we are. Please feel free to contact us if we can help you in any way, and we thank you for being with us today. Have a good rest of your week.